Hello everybody, it's good to be here. Thanks for joining me here at Friendship Shaving for another shave. I don't have a plan of action this week. Normally when I do a video, I do a bit of research and write little notes to myself so that I can refer to them during the shave. I thought I'd do it a little bit differently this week and just come ad hoc, if you like, for a bit of a chat and see how that went and see how it differed from my normal shave. I've got the Macy up there on the windowsill and I need to make a little announcement about the Friendship Shaving brush. Ming Lee, the producer of the brush from Frank Shaving, contacted me a couple of weeks ago saying that he'd unexpectedly run out of handles because of the demand. So there would be a delay of 7 to 8 days on the orders. Do you know, I mentioned it on a Facebook channel and I completely forgot to talk about it and put the notification up on YouTube. So my apologies for that. If you are waiting for your order to come through, that may be one of the reasons why it has been delayed and seems to be taking a little while. Please bear in mind as well that these took 16 days to come through to me from China, so I'm sure if you have a little patience you'll get your brushes, no problem at all. If you do have any issues and you wish to contact Ming, perhaps the best way to do that is through the Friendship Shaving Facebook group. Now, I'll just put that brush in some water. I'm going to be using the Manchurian Finest Badger brush today. I'm going to be using the Martin de Candra Vetiver shaving soap. It's going to be my last chance to use this before I send it back to Mal. And today, I really wanted to talk about why I like adjustable razors so much. So that's the theme of today's shave, if you like. I'm going to just pop a little bit of pre-shave on. I'll be using the cube again. There we are, I think that's enough. I've got a new blade to try today. It actually arrived in the post this morning, 2 little blades from Craig, and it is the new Derby Ooster blade. There's the packet, and Craig says they're quite surprising, and that's all he says, so we'll try one out today. There is absolutely no writing on the blade at all. Very interesting indeed. Now, so I'm going to pop that in the Rockwell Model T that I'm going to be using today. And I'm going to set that on number 4. And pop the razor blade in. There we are, tighten that down. So let's get going with this this lovely Martin de Candra soap. Oh, I love this. So I'm just going to shake and squeeze my brush and start just to load my brush up with this soap. Do you know, I've been using this quite a bit and I haven't even put a dent in this soap. It is a real long-lasting soap. Now, the brush I'm using today, the Manchurian Finest, has a nice shape to it, being as it's a bulb shape, and it's got a nice little bit of backbone on it. I find it to be quite a good all-round brush. I've only used it a couple of times, but I've bowl lathered with it and face lathered with it, and it worked well on both occasions. It's got a nice little bit of backbone, but also, of course, it retains some of that softness. Now, I did find the last time I used this a bit like one or two raw bristle brushes that I've used, that it lost a bit of lather in between passes. So hopefully we'll do better today. Let's just add a drop of water to my face. I've dried out a little bit. I'm intrigued to try this new blade, I must say. So thank you very much, Craig. I really appreciate that. What a nice surprise that was this morning. It's always great to try something new, and I've not heard of this blade before. Drop more water. And you know, I think that's good. I think I'll go with that. There's a nice, as I say, a nice bit of backbone to this, but it still feels really nice when you're just putting it on like this. Now let me move that along a bit. I'm running out of space on the windowsill. So, you know, I was thinking the other week, how does an adjustable razor actually work? We all know what happens when you turn the adjustment dial. It either gets milder or it gets a little bit more aggressive. So I had a really good look at my Gillette Slim, and I'll try and find a picture that demonstrates what happens when we change the adjustment dial. I've been polishing this up, I think it looks amazing. So, and I think basically it's easier for me to use my hand to sort of show you. If my fingers are the head cap, and this is the safety bar. When you have the adjustment set on a really low level, you get a really small blade gap and not much blade exposure, and typically the angle of shave is about 30 degrees. Now what happens as you increase the adjuster to a higher number, the safety bar drops to create a bigger blade gap, but also the angle of shave changes, and because of that it increases the exposure of the razor blade. So basically, certainly for a Gillette anyway, that's what I think happens when you make the adjustment, and this razor, it works in the same way. If you think about that, that's a stunningly clever design idea, isn't it? Not only are you changing the blade gap, but you're changing the blade exposure. And of course, what that does in terms of a shave, it offers you flexibility, it gives you options. My Gillette Slim that I was proudly showing you there, I think that is for me the most iconic adjustable razor. I know some of you are like your fat boys, and I must admit I would love a Gillette toggle. Oh, that's my holy grail at the moment. But Gillette was certainly not the first people to produce an adjustable razor. I know my Gips, as it's pronounced in France, or my Gips razor, is an adjustable, and it was first produced in 1937. So that goes to show you just how advanced the French market was at that time, because the Lecoq also did a very nice adjustable razor. A lot simpler in design to the Gillette adjustables, but nevertheless the idea was there to get an adjustable shave to give you options. I have read some comments that nobody needs to shave with an adjustable. And that's certainly true, you know. If you are lucky enough to find a razor that really suits you, then there's obviously no need to buy an adjustable razor. But what I like about it, what I particularly like about it, is it gives you the option of having a razor for life. And I think that's a fantastic thing. I think it's something that we've kind of forgotten over the last few decades as our society became more of a throwaway society. But I think it's something that we're going back to now. The idea that something could last your lifetime and the lifetime of the person you passed the razor on to, I think is just phenomenal, and I like that. Certainly as a young man, the lower settings on this razor would really suit. And then perhaps as a middle-aged man, the medium settings, and perhaps when you're an old fella and you've got really coarse, hard bristles, perhaps the higher settings. I know I'm being I can't quite think of the word. I know I'm using broad strokes in my description there, but you get the idea. Now, I should have thought I'll show you next time when I've got no soap on my face. Now, I must admit, I tend to use my adjustable set at the level that I like for 3 shaves or 3 passes. And I know a lot of you do that. You find the level that you find most comfortable and stick with it. And I must admit, I'm guilty of that, but I know there are lots of you out there that use different levels for different passes. And what I like about it particularly is that you've got the option to do that. Now, you know that I've been using the Edwin Jagger 316 for a few weeks now. I'll try and show you in a minute, although I don't think you'll be able to see on the camera. But I've got lots of little spots on my face, just here and there on my neck, across here, they're all over. And I know from experience that's because while I've had a brilliant shave with the 316, the razor is just a little bit aggressive for me. It hasn't left me sore, I haven't had razor burn or anything like that, but it's just getting a little bit too close, and particularly on my neck. Now I'm just going to knock that down to about 3.5 for my second pass with the grain. And that really is quite a difference between a 3.5 and a 4. I can barely feel this blade. But yes, I can't change the setting on the 316, but I can on this, and that's what I like. A lot of people get irritation on the neck, like I do. And the adjustable just gives you the opportunity to dial that down a little bit. Also, a couple of areas where people seem to get caught are as you come over the jawline there. I think maybe especially going up, so there's a bit of movement in the skin there where you can't quite get it as taut as you would like. And if you're new to shaving, that's why it's important to stretch your skin by pulling funny faces. I'm being careful around here because this is one of the areas where I catch myself. And again, it's areas where you've got extra skin, so it is really important to stretch that. But sometimes just in the corner of the mouth there, that's a favourite place for me. So if you regularly caught yourself there, then that's where an adjustable razor would come into its own. You can dial it in to really perfect your shave, and it's something I think I'm going to start experimenting a little more with. I think if you had an adjustable, well, like any razor, but I think if you used an adjustable for quite a while, you really get to know how your face reacts. Now I definitely need to go another pass. I've not had a bad shave. Feels very nice with the grain. Pretty good across the grain that way. Definitely need to go against the grain on my neck and that way. That soap tastes horrible. Oh, it really does. Do you know, I like this brush. Do you know, I like all of these brushes that were made for me at Friendship Shaving, and they're all a bit different, but they really are fabulous. Now, my video is just jumping a little bit there, so I hope that doesn't come out at the end. Let me just go a little slower. I don't know what was happening there. That was really strange. Do you know, this is a nice brush. I do prefer, I think, a fan-shaped brush. And actually most of the ones I own seem to be fan-shaped. I've got a few that are bulb-shaped, but yeah, this is nice. I like that there's room in there for everything to move around. So I will put the link below should you be interested in one. Do you know, this is fabulous soap. I mean, I've got plenty to shave with. I've got loads in the brush. I could probably do about 6 passes. So here we go. I'm going to take that down a little bit more now. I'm going to experiment a little bit more and take this down to number 3. I've been enjoying this razor, I must admit I have. The Model T, it's a very nice razor. No, that is too mild for my neck. Even going with the grain, so I'm going to put that back up to 3.5. Perhaps I needed to start on a bigger number. There we go, that's good. Do you know, this blade is very nice. It's not like a Derby. That's a bonus for me. I always cut myself with a Derby. Oh yeah, look at that, straight off. It's not as sharp as a Derby Extra. Do you know what? I'm going to drop that down again just for that bit on my top lip. Pop that down to 3. Do you know, I don't normally do that, but that works really well. Pop it back up again now. 3.5. I've just ordered a new aftershave from Executive Shaving. It's written in Gaelic, but it translates to the outlaw. So I hope to have that for my next shave. What I liked about it particularly is it comes in a glass bottle with an aluminium lid. No plastic pump, no plastic bowl. I'm getting really big on fighting against the tide of plastics now. It's becoming a bit of a passion of mine. Now, do you know what? That's a blinking good shave. A little bit there, just in the normal spot that I don't get, you know, my really awkward bit. But do you know what? That's a smashing shave. Wonderful. Well, I tell you, that's close. Yeah, very close indeed, actually. So the Model T and the Martin de Condra will be returned and will be gone from my den, which is rather a shame because I have enjoyed them. Today I'm going to use the Paresso Green because pretty much it goes with everything. Boy, I've got a bit of a sting going on. I'll tell you what, I'm glad I didn't start on a higher number after all of that. Now, just going to quickly give the Macy a quick wipe and leave it up there on the windowsill for you to all look at. Thank you very much for joining me today. Let me know what you thought of the shave. Please subscribe if you haven't already. You look after yourselves. I'll see you next time around. All the best.